Hey everybody, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3 back here with another video, and welcome back to the second part of my top 10 Spider-Man villains list. Number 5 is the Scorpion. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 20 in 1965. Mac Gargan was a private photographer, was a private eye investigator, was a private eye hired by J. Jonah Jameson to figure out how Peter Parker got his pictures of Spider-Man. But when Mac failed, Jameson paid for a procedure which turned Mac into, you guessed it, the Scorpion, giving him all the powers of the Scorpion: superhuman strength, speed, agility, wall crawling, and of course, that powerful tail of his. And yes, it also shoots acid. Mac Gargan for years has also been a member of the Sinister Six during his long run in the comics. So, yeah, he's also been in several different variations of the Sinister Six over the years. So, at least we have that. And, of course, I gotta admit, Insomniac made one hell of a version of him. I like their version, and I also like how he also appeared in a cameo in Spider-Man Homecoming, which begs the question, yeah, we might see him in a future movie. So, yeah, it's possible we will see Scorpion in a future Spider-Man film. So, that'd be really cool to see him in a future movie. Number 4 is the Green Goblin. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 14 back in 1964. Well, we all know Norman Osborn, the CEO of Oscorp. Basically tested a serum on himself, turned himself incredibly crazy. And let's talk about the Goblin. The Green Goblin has often or not made Peter's life a living hell, being one of Spidey's most dangerous foes. I mean, he killed Gwen Stacy. He's done a lot of stuff to Peter over the years. Norman even at one point took over S.H.I.E.L.D. and even took over the Sinister Six from Doc Ock when Doc Ock wanted to reform in the Ultimate Comics. Norman Osborn's arsenal consists of a glider that shoots missiles, smart bombs, and of course, and it's not just his glider, he also has a variety of different pumpkin bombs, bat shuriken, gloves that discharge electricity, and even the ultimate version of the Goblin in the Ultimate version looks more demonic. So, in a sense, I also loved how Insomniac in their version made him the mayor in the first Spider-Man game that Insomniac made. So, it begs the question, they're basically setting Norman up to be eventually the Green Goblin in the future, in a future title. So, that'd be really cool to see what Insomniac's take on the Goblin would be like. Number 3 is Venom. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue 252 back in 1984. Now, for the longest time, I originally wanted to include Venom as my favorite Spider-Man villain, but then after remembering that atrocity that Spider-Man 3 was, yeah, you guessed it, I kind of had to move him back to the third spot instead, and Venom kind of got kicked out of his first place spot. But I still love Venom, aka Eddie Brock. Eddie Brock was a journalist who used to work for the Daily Bugle alongside Peter Parker. But after old Eddie got fired, he found himself being attached to a black symbiote. and the black symbiote and him became one, known as Venom. Knowing Spider-Man's secret identity, after Venom had previously been dejected by Spidey, Venom sought revenge on the web slinger. Like Spider-Man, Venom can wall crawl, and he's basically superhumanly strong. And he also can web sling. But it's not just Eddie Brock that was mainly Venom's host. Oh, no. He also took over the body of Mac Gargan, aka the Scorpion, in the comics as well. So yeah, Scorpion at one point had Venom as its host. Number 2 is Dr. Octopus, or Doc Ock. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man issue number 3 back in 1963. Yep, Doc Ock himself appeared an issue after the Vulture first appeared. Well, Dr. Otto Octavius was the leading expert in nuclear fusion. He had invented a device which is a harness with 4 mechanical arms to help him with his work. But after an accident that allowed the arms to be welded onto his body, he basically went insane. And, of course, tried to continue his work and eventually crossed paths with Spider-Man. In Otto's first appearance, he held a hospital staff hostage, and then leaving to Spider-Man to save him. Now, Doc Ock has definitely been a mainstay villain ever since his first appearance, and he's continued to be such an iconic foe, known for his really he has a plucky exterior, but he makes up for it with those deadly mechanical arms of his and that psychotic brain. Ock was also the first one who led nearly every incarnation of the Sinister Six until the Green Goblin ousted him from power. Otto was the original founder of the Sinister Six, so yeah, it makes sense he'd be on this list. And I can't leave the Good Doctor off of the list either. Insomniac definitely made one hell of a version with their Otto, and I also gotta give Alfred Molina credit for his version in Spider-Man 2. And my number 1 favorite Spider-Man villain is Carnage. First appeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 361 back in 1992. Cletus Cassidy was a serial killer. Born as a psychotic, had the toughest upbringings by basically, killing his grandma, torturing the family pet. Oh yeah, and being sentenced to 12 years in Rikers State Penitentiary. While being cellmates with Eddie Brock, Brock's symbiote Venom had returned to him, and it was pregnant, and it gave birth to a red offspring, which took over Cassidy's body, and the two became Carnage. They are so dangerous that Spider-Man had to work with Venom in order to basically defeat him. Now, this is why I originally had Carnage at number 4, number 5, but then he kind of just took over as my favorite Spider-Man villain. And I cannot wait to see what they do with him in the Venom sequel, in the sequel to the Venom movie that took place in 2018. So, I'm really hoping what they would do with Carnage is awesome because I want to see him on the big screen. It'd be really cool to see what they do with Carnage. And also, I mean, come on. How do you not find Carnage cool? I mean, he can morph his arms into different appendages like spears, axes, tendrils, you name it. He could basically just morph his body into anything. And also, I did like how the 90s Spider-Man cartoon managed to make such a psychotic killer be brought to life in a kid show. They managed to portray a psychotic serial killer very well in a kid show. That is something I gotta give the 90s Spider-Man cartoon credit. Anyway, this is your Digital Super Saiyan 3, and I'll see you next time for Sold Out 1998. See ya!